One of the things we were talking about was just the process of decision making to allow you to make these sorts of choices. I wonder for decision making in general, and we can talk about product decision making as well. I imagine, like, again, you come across many decisions throughout the day, some which are simple and some which are very complex. Over the years, are there any particular ways or frameworks or methodologies that you've kind of learned or started to use yourself to help you make these types of more complex decisions?
For sure. We developed something called the build method. At its core is training leaders to make relative decisions versus absolute decisions. An example of an absolute decision is something that feels really good. So you may have a team saying, like, we need additional people in order to build this. And a leader in the room says, yes, I approve those people, right? Or we need to make a decision if we're going to include this in our plan. And the leader says yes, or the leader says no. It feels really decisive. It feels like a decision, but it's absolute. It's not relative. And therefore, it's not a real decision. It's a fake decision, for lack of a better term. A relative decision is one where the trade-off is explicit. And I think the greatest leaders are the ones that actually don't accept the decision or make a decision or believe a decision unless that trade-off is made extremely explicit. The challenge with that is most decisions are apples to oranges. The most frequent situation I have faced, my team has faced, is a very big, ambiguous concept versus a very small, tactical, yet important thing. And those two are impossible to trade off. And so that's why we developed the build method, which essentially just categorizes big things, medium things, small things, so that when you bring a decision to the table, it's always big versus big, medium versus medium, small versus small. Those lists are managed independently. And then if someone comes with a request for a decision and they don't have that trade-off, it's very easy coaching to ask them to go back, discover what that trade-off might be, bring another person to the table if that trade-off is not within your team, with data on both sides. And that is a recipe for very fast, very real decision making.
This is a very interesting concept. I love the way that you described it on what an absolute decision is. Can you give me an example of a relative decision?
For sure. I made one this morning. So there was a piece of work for one of our international markets, came in hot, came into our leadership team meeting as a decision that we needed to make today. And it is 100% aligned with our strategy. And there is no scenario where us as a leadership team would say no. Like, the answer was going to be yes. An absolute version of this decision is we would say yes. And then the downstream impact to the team would just be bulldozing, right? And we would be completely ignorant to what did the team stop doing in order to start doing that. Instead, a wonderful leader on my team was able to quickly pull up the priorities for this particular altitude. This altitude we call projects. Pull up the projects for this particular initiative. They're prioritized, and ask the question, where do we think this sits in this prioritized list? And so we had a great debate. And the debate was based off of data, and we landed essentially as it being number 3. And so decision was made. It's number 3. We're very clear on the things that the team would push out in terms of their plan to accommodate it. But at the same time, we did not create a fire drill for the rest of the organization to have to put out.